So tax credits have emerged as a very important policy tool when governments want to encourage certain types of economic activities. And in this case, we are talking about deployment of different types of low carbon technologies in order to reduce carbon emissions and address climate change. So governments around the world have been offering a variety of tax incentives and tax credits to incentivize the deployment of renewable energy projects, to incentivize improvements in energy efficiency in buildings and so on. In the United States itself, tax credits have been very effective in accelerating the deployment of nascent technologies like wind and solar. These type of renewable energy projects, they have very low operating and maintenance cost, but they have very high upfront cost. So tax credits are a very good tool to bring down these upfront costs and help these projects attract financing from tax equity investors, which helps these projects to get off the ground. Actually, I would say that tax credits have been effectively used in deploying a wide variety of low carbon technologies, and pretty much in every sector of the economy, whether we are talking about reducing emissions in the power sector, you have tax credits for renewable energy technologies. In the transportation sector, you have consumer-facing tax credits to spur the adoption of EVs, and in the building sectors, you have tax incentives for energy efficiency improvements in both new and existing buildings. So they are a tool that can be applied to a wide variety of low carbon technologies and in pretty much every sector of the economy. So timing is very important when it comes to tax credits. Tax credits are a good tool to use when a technology has just commercialized, but it has not been widely adopted. So between these two phases of when a technology has commercialized but not yet reached widespread adoption, the role of tax credit is to accelerate the deployment of these technologies, to help these technologies gain a foothold in the market, bring down the cost so that these technologies are cost competitive with their dirty fossil fuel counterparts, and also to induce technological innovation for these products. If a tax credit is offered before a technology is mature enough to be used by users, then it is unlikely to go used. And if a tax credit is available for a long time after a technology has achieved widespread adoption, then effectively what the tax credit is doing is that it is still spurring adoption of this mature technology, but it is not leading to technological improvement or innovation. So basically it is leading to it can also be prohibitive and acts as a costly barrier to the emergence of other cutting-edge clean energy technologies. I think tax credits work in a lot of countries, both developing and advanced economies. The primary purpose of tax credit is to lower tax burdens. And we have seen tax credits being used in many developing countries where they are trying to reduce the tax burden of, companies investing in those countries, especially, foreign investors. And especially tax credits do not require upfront use of government funds. So for that reason, it becomes a very attractive financial tool for developing countries in comparison to other, financial incentives, which could be grants or low cost, loans. One of the key challenges with tax credits is just their erratic nature. So they can be prone to arbitrary stoppages and exclusions. And when a technology is caught up in this, vicious cycle of, expirations and then, short-term extensions, then it actually deters investment in low carbon technologies. And we have actually seen that happen in the United States, where the repeated expiration and the short-term extension of the production tax credit impacted the wind turbine industry, especially when it was trying to gain a foothold in the US market. Tax credits need to be designed in a way that assures investors that they are around for a significant number of years. One another challenge about tax credits is the whole equity angle. So there are a lot of consumer-facing tax credits. For instance, tax credits for buying EVs or installing, rooftop solar panels in your house. And there's a lot of evidence that these tax credits have been used by high-income, highly educated people. So there's a certain segment of the demographic that is, using these tax credits. So that is all well and good because these are early adopters and they can help bring down the cost of those technologies, but they do raise important questions about equity. Like just when you are trying to deploy these low carbon technologies, is everyone benefiting from the availability of these technologies? Tax credits work best when they are paired with complementary deployment policies. So for addressing climate change and reducing carbon emissions, policymakers have a whole toolkit. And they have to choose each policy tool to address a specific problem, and a tool which is not the answer to a specific problem can actually lead to misuse of resources and time and money. So one of the things that has really been evident from how tax credits have been working in the US is how they need to be paired with complementary deployment policies, which could be either carbon pricing mechanisms or a clean energy standards, which do a more effective job of addressing externality of carbon pollution. Tax credits have a very specific role, which is to help nascent technologies gain a foothold in the market. And they should not be used as a permanent policy tool, as a substitute for other, deployment policies, because then there's the likelihood of that these tax credits are not going to be very effective.